This was way more scary for me. My daughter was about 2.5, 3 years old, my youngest one. So she'd take her bath and we would read a story and I'd put her to bed. So one evening we do the ritual and I had a baby monitor, still don't know why, but just nice to have. And I hear her talking to somebody. So I come in and I'm like, what's going on? Why aren't you asleep? And she says, this little boy is bothering me. I said, oh, at church. And she says, no. I said, well, where? And she says, there. And she points over to the corner of the room. I said, what? Now, my gut reaction was, she's stalling. She doesn't want to go to bed. So I said, what's his name? Playing along, kind of. And I'm expecting Bobby, some kid's name. And she says, he says his name is Wind. Okay, that scene caught me like, whoa. I said, well, what does he look like? And she says, well, he's got blonde hair and he's wearing blue bibs. And I look over and I don't see anything. Are you making this up? And she's like, no, he's there. And I was like, well, what does he want? And she says, he wants me to go outside and play. Now it's winter, it's cold. And I said, well, you wouldn't do that, would you? She's like, no, I don't want to go outside. And I could tell that she was distressed. This wasn't something that she was just saying to try to stall. So I sat in a room with her for I don't know how long, and she finally went to sleep. This goes on for 2 weeks. We got a prayer chain going on. It's, short of having a Catholic priest come over, like, I don't know what to do. And so one night I come up the stairs, she's in her bedroom. And as I was about to walk into my bedroom, I see walk behind me out of the corner of my eye and into my daughter's bedroom, a little boy with blonde hair and blue bibs. I just saw walk into her bedroom. I would like to say that I immediately ran into the room, but the truth is I just froze. And I hear through the baby monitor this voice. This was the most bizarre language I've ever heard. It was almost guttural. I thought I was hearing Wind talking to my daughter. But then when I listened closer, it was my daughter talking in that language. Oh, yeah. And then I hear her say, okay. And then there's this big pause. And she says, okay. So I go in there and I'm like, what's going on? And she says, Wind's gone. He's not going to bother me anymore. And sure enough, Wind doesn't come back. So then fast forward. And one day I'm at my office before I became a judge, and a story comes up about some 3-year-old boy in Toronto, Canada. And in the middle of the night, the kid gets up, leaves the apartment, walks to some city park 2-3 blocks away that the kid had never been to, and freezes to death. And the first thing I thought was, Wind. That's what this thing wanted to do to my daughter. It would alert her when she'd die.